Good morning. Sorry about the glare of this morning or halo effect from the sun as I was doing my first video. But again, I want to talk to you about world without end, as Isaiah keeps telling us, right? Well, what if we keep going through this process over and over again during the nuclear phase of our knowledge increasing, right? Now, every time it seems to me we get to a certain point in our civilization, we have the option to blow each other to hell or not. Well, I think we do it every time, right? We escalate in violence, rebellion from God, and making the male creature superior to all, right? That's your problem, creature. I know I'm a creature of God, not the creator, but I'm trying to understand the mind of the universe that created us all, including the true hermaphrodites and the female, right? Now, the male in some ways is stronger than both, right? But in some ways is weaker than both, right? That's the problem too. And anyone can murder anyone now that death is the order. But also anyone can be resurrected from the dead if they believe in Jesus. They may never die. So that's the point I'm making there. Now, I'm not here to prove anything to you, because all I can do is show you my current and old medical records as a comparison, and that I was injured in the sacrum and coccyx area, which is associated with male potency, right? Normally when you're injured in that area, you can't reproduce anymore and you become impotent, right? Well, I had sex with my girlfriend Mary Bell and a few others after I fell, right? Now, the reason I kept up the relationship, of course, is to, I wanted to, be with Mary Bell more than any of the other girls, but she kept, confusing me about what I was seeing with her, right? So I finally, after a while, when I moved back to Georgia, was having a lot of difficulty, gave up on the relationship, right? And that's the point there, I know. And she was just treating me so bad, I just sent her a breakup letter and broke up with her, right? That's what I'm talking about in things of that matter as well. Now, I don't care so much whether I got her pregnant or not, but I was having sex with her with a damaged sacrum and coccyx, which is associated with male potency and sexual release, right? If your coccyx and sacrum are damaged to the degree mine is, not only should you be paralyzed from the waist down, nothing will be functioning either, Only if Jesus healed me like he did the man with the palsy, though this is something different entirely, could I be walking anyway. And that's why I keep showing you my MRIs, my x-rays, and my CT scans from my videos, from my trips to the Navy. Now, of course, they don't want me to show you because they might be evil men. But they think the threat of a nuclear war will prohibit people from telling the truth. Again, what do you think we keep doing? If the universe is 15 billion years old, and the Earth is about 5 or whatever, right? How long do you think we've been on this planet in that war with each other over the same issues? 5 billion years? It's funny, every time we get to a certain point, what makes you think God can't make us go all the way back to the beginning and do it all again, right? See, that's the point, right? God knows everything we're going to do before we do it. How? Because we keep doing the same things over and over and over again. Now, every man has their reasons for doing things the way they did in the past. And there's one male child that John mentions in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, who is caught up somehow before the throne of God in heaven, right? Now, Jesus in the opening of the book has Mastuis. It is spelled Mastois. Luke also used the word in his gospel to describe the paps of a woman. There's no mistaking what he means. And mastos also applies to both breasts. Right? And when they translated the Septuagint, they had 4 up to 6 different translations for the word too, right? And one for male chest, which is stethos, for the idol the king Nebuchadnezzar wanted people to worship, right? After he had the dream of it in Daniel. Now, Daniel refers to God as El-Law, with 2 H's, right? Now, so did Moses, and so did several other prophets, right? Now, Jeremiah, when rebuking Israel for worshiping the Queen of Heaven, right? Every time he would say to her, he used the word law, L-A-H-H, in Jeremiah 44, right? Now, that means law is what? Feminine. So El-Law would be mighty her. Now, again, El-Hey is how they say Genesis 39, I think. Oh, let me look it up right now. I think it's 38 or 39. Somewhere in there. Now, in Genesis are you going to repeat the past, Peter? And fail to witness for Jesus again? All right. The whole truth this time. Might be 36. Now, around this time, when God gave Jacob the name Israel, in chapter 33, verse 20, Jacob erected an altar and called it Elohei Israel, or Israel, whatever you want to say. Now, the thing is, they're misinterpreting their own language there, right? The Jews, today. Now, the thing is, the word hey is spelled in the Hebrew E-L-H-Y. Well, the feminine word in Hebrew is H-Y, Aleph. And the masculine word is H-W, Aleph, right? Now, in the name Eliyahu, for example, the Aleph is dropped off the Hu, which means him, he, or something of that nature. But El-He would be the same way, right? Now, that's why the Jews lie to you and tell you it's what? El-Hey, right? Now, this can't prove anything to you unless what? Moses himself were to tell you. And Moses is among the dead, right? So God has to raise a prophet up like unto Moses, who is male, to tell you, right? I'm that man, right? That's all I can tell you is my theory. I'm the male child John mentioned in the book of Revelations. Now, here's why. When I was 12 years old, after my dad was murdered by a guy named Joey, at his house on Highway 21 in Garden City, near where the Crystals is, if you know the area, right? Well, I turned to Jesus to try and understand death a little bit better and got baptized on November 1st, 1981. The following year, I was going through the 6th grade and about to go to junior high, right? Well, around the month of July or August, somewhere in that area, September, I had a dream where I was in this cloud-like body of mist or fog, right? Not exactly sure what it was. But in front of me was this huge white throne, and on the throne was just a little ball of light, right? About the size of a brain or a white dwarf star, maybe something in that general description. And so the following weekend, I told my teacher about the dream in Sunday school class. Then I got my Bible and wrote the dream in my Bible. And things like that, which my grandma gave to me too. Right? Now, the male child is caught up to the throne of God in heaven. Now, the two witnesses are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. But God is God in heaven and earth. Now, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool, as said in Matthew. So again, if I saw a throne with a light on it, hovering above it, and me standing before it and the throne, as if in a cloud, would that not seem like I stood before the throne of God in heaven? That's what I told my Sunday school teacher. And, now, that was a long time ago, and that was, I think, Miss Watson or something like that. I forget her name. And she might be dead by now. I don't know. But anyway, the point is, though, I bore record that I'm the male child to her, and that's the whole point, right? The dream alone was a few scriptures showed me not only am I the male child, but I'm also one of two witnesses of the latter day, right? Now, my job isn't to force you to receive what I'm telling you, it's to try and gently tell you, right? But this might not be the first time I tried to tell you, right? If the earth itself is millions or billions of years old, and we keep destroying it when we get to this technological advancement and blowing ourselves to hell with nuclear or neutron bombs, God can what? Rewind the clock and start it all over again. Right? Putting the same characters in the same exact situation to see if they'll do the same thing all over again, right? See what I mean, Peter? Are you going to repent this time and tell the whole truth? You're the head right now. Everyone's looking to you to tell them the truth, but you didn't, nor did the other 12, because he told them too, right? Now, he didn't tell Judas, but Matthias knew, and so did Paul, right? You can hear by the ambiguity of his testimony where he says we're all one in Christ Jesus and things like that, but yet refers also to him as male, right? While we're all confused today, right? But you helped in that confusion, though you too said, "See thou doest not, I myself am just a man," to Cornelius. I know what you meant, right? He is the God of all flesh. There is nothing too hard for him, right? You saw three forms, androgynous, male, and female, right? It wasn't Elijah and Moses. You were mistaken then, because they were more facing Jesus anyway, not you. And three appeared to Abraham in the tent in his tent in Genesis 19 as well, right? And two went on to Sodom and Gomorrah to see what would happen to him, his male and female side. Whereas the androgynous side stayed with Abraham. That's the real Trinity. Now, the idea of the Trinity and God being thrice male is not impossible too, But Paul also said, neither is the man without the woman nor the woman without the man in the Lord. Now what this means is we're all genetically our mothers and fathers through the DNA exchange when we procreate. When the male impregnates the female and things of that nature, the female's egg joins with the sperm in her womb as it comes from the fallopian tube, and the sperm comes from the male scrotum and things of that nature, and testicles, down his urine tract, which also has the sperm ducts connected to it, right? And that's how we produce children, right? Now, the day will come when they will say, blessed are the wombs that never bore, and the paps which never sucked. And the Hebrew children made it through the fiery furnace, right? Hence, at a coming World War III, right? That's what I'm trying to help prevent, but I can't help prevent it by assassinating President Trump. I can't do that, right? I can't assassinate anyone, any leader, not Kim Jong-un, not Vladimir, not the leader in China. I forget his name, sorry about that, sir. But whoever you are that has nuclear warheads, I can't stop you from doing this. I'm one person. You see what shooting into a crowd can get you, dead or in jail, right? Well, I ain't gonna be that dumb. Just like I wouldn't be dumb if my stepdaughter were to come in there to me, I would know what to do, right? First thing, you ask her who showed you that, and then you tell her mom, right? Now, you don't want an answer, right? But if she gives you one, like grandma, grandpa, mom, aunt, uncle, whatever, you have to go with that, right? Hypothetically. That's what I keep telling them. And, you keep trying to entrap innocent people into committing sexual sins with you to blackmail them into joining your side too. Pastor Davis was big on and trying to get men to masturbate with him in a motel room, right? Well, you get along with a man as big as Pastor Davis, and he might rape you. I don't know, but right, to show you what it's like. And in his own way, he's justifying the rape, right? But rape is evil either way. And men won't talk about it like women will. But Moses described rape as murder. But what, then he's going to tell the woman to marry the rapist who raped her? No. If this is murder, you don't want her to marry her rapist. That's insane, right? I think what happened there is a scribe later on added in his own 2 cents on it, right? And I think they do that with a lot of passages today. Like when they translated Isaiah 60:16, they said riches of kings instead of shad of kings, which means single female breast. You shall suck. Now, I studied into the Hebrew, and the word do align with the King James Version, not the Septuagint Version, which says something different. And the same thing also varies in Zechariah 23. And one of the passages say that the breasts of women will fall off one day, right? As a curse for rebelling from God, which Satan puts on you when you sin. Well, we are developing cancers now, right? Including breast cancer, prostate cancer, and men are crying as a woman in travail because of their prostate, which is inside the body. Now, I cried as a woman in travail when I was injured in my 3-story fall, right? The 3-story fall can kill anyone, right? As the boy who fell 3 stories from the window in Acts shows as well, right? Chapter 20, verses 8 through 10. And that's the point there too, right? I was also in a car accident, supposedly, and that could have killed me, right? Now, I had 2 near-death experiences, which only Jesus could see me through, right? Some way, somehow, right? Now, what helped me to believe it was Jesus was my stepbrother wasn't injured at all at first. But now, looking over it, I find it suspicious because the actual medical report said the whole windshield collapsed. Not just on my side, but on Roddy's side too. I know. That's why I think Roddy wasn't in the car, but might have wrecked it with me in it. That's what I'm thinking, right? We went down to his girlfriend's Vivian's house and something went down there, right? Either between me and Roddy or some of his friends or whatever, right? Don't know exactly, But that's the point too, right? So I can't say who it all could be, but I can name a few people I had a beef with. Johnny Norris, who was a friend I met through David Maddox, he was told by someone that I was spreading rumors that him and an older woman named Lynn were dating or something. Well, if you're dating someone first, I didn't know about it until David told me anyway that day. And then you wanted to fight me on the school campus, so I had to run away, right? Because again, we're not supposed to fight on school campus, and you didn't give me a location to meet you at either to settle the matter if you wanted to man to man, right? You just wanted to fight me on school campus, and I know we can't do that because I ain't going to get suspended from school, right? Your dumbass might want to, and that's up to you, right? That's the only reason I wouldn't fight you on the school grounds. Anyway. Like I said, the only thing that people tend to cover up is sexual advances that they become embarrassed of. Though you can promise not to tell, right? It always comes out according to them, right? Well, you're right. It's coming out. David Pelham and Johnny Norris, and according to David Maddox, two brothers had earlier, with David's consent, raped his younger brother, Matthew. Now, what they do is they pass it off like Pastor Davis probably did to his congregation as, I'm raping you to show you don't want gay sex. And stuff like that. And that's a lie. God does not rape you, Satan does. Now that's why the Gnostics said Adam and Eve both had penetrating sex with the angel Nos. Now I don't think it's as clear in the Gnostic Gospels either, because there's certain discrepancies there too, but the general idea is that he had normal sex with Eve, but anal sex with Adam, right? Well, this is also, too, why the Orthodox wouldn't want that in the canon and convinced Constantine to erase the whole memory of them, right? And destroy their works. Well, the Gnostics were smart and hid their writings in a cave for a later time, right? As Jeremiah did, right? When they were threatening to destroy his works. And that's the whole point there too. Now it's not to convince you, that ain't my job. It's just to witness as my role has again come around for the billionth time. Maybe. Whatever. You know, if our earliest civilization only traced back 12,000 years, every 12,000 years, it seems to me like God starts it all over again. Within a few days, few thousand years, we fuck it up with Satan. And then, again, we're left to wander in the world alone without God, right? And then Jesus comes to try and redeem us. And then, 2,000 years after, I come to try and explain Jesus better, because the disciples, according to John and Luke, didn't tell us everything Jesus explained to them before he went into heaven, right? Which was 40 days after the resurrection. And again, right? The timelines are again aligning up, right? God can, if it needs to, create the world in 6 24-hour Earth days, right? It's not the point. And then let the 6th day become the first thousand year, right? Now, if the Earth is as old as we think it is, right, according to science and nature and all that, this could be going on for millions to billions of years, right? If you figure every 12,000 years or so, right? Our civilization pops up again, right? And within a short amount of time, we're up to nuclear war technology again. And yet we seem to find the same matter to make the same cities over and over again. We're being reincarnated, yes, but not the way you think, right? Every player who's been born, from the Caesars to the Jews to the Greeks to everyone, keeps coming back the same way, right? Reincarnated. Elijah. That's why Jesus said, I am the God of Moses, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Every time we do this to ourselves, God just brings us back to the Garden of Eden and starts it all over again. That's my theory for the umpteenth millionth time. And it's my job to try and tell as many people as want to hear it. Even if you don't want to hear it, I still got to try and tell you, as I have before. And that's all I can do is try and warn you. We're heading towards the same path. We're blaming little North Korea for not even being able to get a missile over Japan, but we have our arsenals now and threatening everybody with it. Right? President, Chance, or Trump, whatever you are. Now, there is a real friend of mine named Donald Chance, but is President Trump acting like Donald Chance and trying to destroy the world instead of save the world? I don't know. But anyone who makes a big deal out of a country that can't even get a missile over Japan without it falling into the ocean has a superiority complex of the wazoo. And isn't thinking like a leader of a nation, but a little small company he owns, compared to billions of others who have a similar company. Right? Thinking he's the boss of bosses and stuff like that. Right? Well, that's good to a point, President Chance, or President Trump, whatever you want to call yourself. But you're causing a lot of problems that no other president caused before you. Right? Even Obama wasn't as bad as you. Right? If you think he's bad, you're worse. In my opinion. Not to say I can hurt you or anything. That's not my job. Right? My job is to witness what we won't hear. Right? See, they show you a lot of things in the Bible, but that's all smoke and mirrors. The heart of the Bible isn't the big things that you see on the front of the page. That's written by men. Right? But there are some passages that also refer to God as a female deity, right? And I'm telling you a few of those as well, right? God even mentions giving birth as a woman in travail, right? And crying as a woman in travail, which means a woman about to give birth, right? Well, that's hard for men to do, right? Because this thing might be prostate cancer or breaking your pelvis, right? In multiple places like I did, right? And again, now, what Satan did was start the battle of the sexes to begin with in an androgynous form, right? Now, I don't think Adam would just flat out let Satan have anal sex with him unless Satan also had a vagina and a butt too, right? First, Satan let him get his vagina and then his butt and act like it felt good. And maybe Eve too, I don't know. They had a little orgy, I think, right? Now, it wasn't the sex itself that was the problem. It was the spirit it was done in. And how, when Adam didn't want to do it anymore, Satan continued with the sex until he finished half raping him too. Now, you notice Eve spoke to a serpent in Eden. Well, how many serpents do you know can ever talk? Zero, zilch, nada, not one. Can speak to you. Now, when Balaam went mad, he thought his donkey talked to him, but then it was revealed it was an angel talking to the donkey, right? Now, you think the serpent was speaking, or Satan was the serpent, but how? What appendage on the man looks like a serpent. A man who has a penis the size of a donkey or a horse. My anaconda don't want unless you got buns, son. My anaconda is a what? Huge snake, right? What is the penis on a man that's between 9 to 14 inches? An anaconda, right? Now, of course, I look into all forms of life, including a little bit of pornography, because I'm dating, right? Trying to find a female, right? So, ever since I was 5, I was attracted to females, right? Unlike other little boys, I guess. Not to put you down or judge you or anything like that, but again, then at 12 I had my first boner in school, but I learned to masturbate and control my masturbation and would masturbate just once a day, right? I didn't get obsessed with that either. And I would generally just put a picture of a girl in Playboy on my bed and pretend I was having sex with her. That's about it. That's about it. And again, I knew I would never meet the girl, but it was just, to have a picture of a pretty girl I was having sex with in my mind. Not, fantasy versus reality, right? And I was cool with that, right? Until I got to the Navy, anyway. And then Pastor Davis groped me and things like that, and was trying to get some of his eunuchs to masturbate with him in a motel room, right? Well, I wonder if it went bad real quick. And after they masturbated together, did Pastor Davis try and rape them and make them do anal sex with him too, right? And see, some people call marijuana, for example, a gateway drug, that it can lead to cocaine and other drugs, right? Right. Well, what Pastor Davis was doing was masturbating to make it a gateway into homosexual rape, right? Now, again, I'm not against homosexuality per se. What we're against, I think, in the Bible, and Moses was talking about, is in Israel, they had arranged marriages, right? And you were to marry the woman your mother or father chose for you, and that they were generally chose between the men, the age 25 and 30, somewhere in there, right? And the woman was generally 14 and above, right? I guess. That would be probably the youngest in Israel, right? Though in Islam they went down as far as 9 with Muhammad, but now we know we gotta wait till the age of consent in America anyway, which is state by state. In Georgia, the age of consent is 16 or older, right? In some states, it's 18 and older, and that's the general popular rule, right? Now, like a lot of people herald when a girl from TV, like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen or something like that, right? When they turn 18, they're like, oh, they're no longer jailbait, right? A lot of people celebrate that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They're just children still. So. And I don't understand that mentality. Just because they become an adult don't mean you're going to see them on Playboy. They're respectable girls, right? Now, again, that's why Jessica Alba, I guess, has some kind of problem with Hugh Hefner using some of her photos. But they look like they were just released as a junket of photos, too, right? So any magazine who wanted them, right? They weren't distasteful photos either. But unless she was just worried men will masturbate to her in Playboy. But if they're going to masturbate hunt to you, honey, in Playboy is the only magazine you use. Some people use Sears and JCPenney. And their children. Sorry, Tom. That was an impersonation of Tom Slash from one of his movies. Tom Cruise. And Ben Stiller can sort of do it too, so I was just, for a moment laughing like I would think Tom would laugh at that. I don't know. But a lot of people know about using the Sears and Roebuck catalog to masturbate to. Especially the lingerie section. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Well, I became real calm about my masturbation and was trying to wait for marriage too, right? So when I was 21, that's when 20, That's when I came into the Navy, right? And when I was in June of that year, I got baptized on the 21st at Christian Fellowship Church International in Waukegan, Illinois, where Pastor Lloyd Ray Davis was the general pastor and head pastor of the whole church. Well, he moved there from Arkansas because he got into a little bit of trouble with molesting some boys, maybe. That was the rumor there, right? Well, if he started doing it with grown men, it became a problem, right? Now, he also was indicted for masturbating with some boys, too, similar to Michael Jackson's case, but different. So that's the point there, too. Now, the problem isn't two gay men who love each other and want to be in a relationship. The problem is if you're married, how will you handle a homosexual relationship, right? Now, if you're bisexual and you're open with your wife and she's fine with it, what's the problem, right? There shouldn't be one, right? But if you, again, make a move on a straight man and he says, oh, I'm straight, what you gonna do, murder him? Kill him? Knock him out or something, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Give him amnesia, the whole thing, right? That's what it felt like with the car accident and also the three-story fall. Now, I was in the car in the hospital less than 2 days with the first one and about a month and a half with the second one. Maybe I predicted that. And did. And like I said, I would admit that if you do more damage to me now, it might take me longer to heal than the first one because I don't know all the information, right? But once I get the information, I'm going to just start working on getting better daily. Now, some days I might have bad days, some days I might have good days, things of that nature. But you'll see me every day, one day. This is that day, That's why I'm doing videos on YouTube, right? Now, like I said, if you're married, you're not supposed to have sex with a man unless, look, your wife consents to it and it's fine with her, right? Then you can be a third party, and the same with the homosexual relationship, or whatever, right? But the key word is what? Consent, not lying about it, and not trying to hurt someone who don't want to do it with you either. See, some people can't handle the word rejection. I mean, when you tell them no, they want to hurt you instead of, it's their way or the highway type mentality. Right, Harvey Weinstein? It's their way or the highway. If you don't do what they want you to do, they sexually harass you, and then they won't work with you either. They're embarrassed in a way by their own behavior. They know it's wrong. But, and again, they think they're justified in a way because they got all this wealth, money, and privilege. It's not homosexuality where two men are in love with each other. It's homosexuality where a married man wants to hide he's homosexual and stay in the closet, right? That's the problem, right? Pastor Davis was such a band, maybe Pastor Thomas and Pastor Payne too. I don't know. But Pastor Payne and Pastor Thomas married his daughters, right? And I don't know if he did it with Larry too, but again, that was his son. So Larry Davis, Pam Davis, and Debbie Davis, I don't know if it's Deborah or what it exactly stands for, all married, and a guy that Pastor Davis made heads of his church, right? Pastor Lentis, who was in San Diego, I don't know who he married, but he probably found his own wife or something. Now, some men will marry a woman, but keep their homosexuality on the back burner. That's what Jesus and Moses mean, alright? Don't sleep with a married man in Israel, alright? Or anywhere. They might kill you if you try to reveal the secret to the wife, right? They might also kill you if you want a relationship with them that they don't want and try to press the issue. We all see it on TV when a man also takes a mistress and the mistress wants to be the number one wife, and there's only, he's married to his wife and he'll lose everything if he divorces her type of situation. Right? Well, the same is true if you're with the man in Israel, right? It'll be worse for you. You might can even be stalling with the guy, and that there again, you have a reason to avoid that situation, right? But the reason it is evil in the first place, you're not supposed to have sex with a man while you're married either. That's still adultery. And thou shalt not commit adultery applies male or female in marriage in Israel. And most, even Islam agrees with that with Israel, right? Now the problem is if they're married and do it anyway, and then the lover, male or female, wants the relationship to get more committed, right? And that's the problem too, right? So Paul answered this question by saying, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers, God will what? Judge. That's the problem. Now, you get confused because of what Moses said about rape in the Bible, right? But did he say it, or did a scribe later on change it, right? Who might have been a rapist himself, right? See, that's the point. The Spirit bears witness to itself. Why would Moses say it was like murder, but then say in a way, make her marry the man who raped her, right? That's sort of a double negative, or a negative and then trying to make it something positive, but you can't make it positive, right? That's still forced marriage, or what they call today slave marriage, right? A lot of people are forced to marry at an early age because they don't know what they're doing a lot of times, right? Or they're being molested by their parents or things of that nature. And that can also make people go gay or straight or bisexual, things like that too, right? Now, I don't judge you whatever your sexuality is. That's not the problem, nor does Jesus, right? The problem is how you're behaving towards each other when someone finds out you're gay and you make a move on them and they say, no, I don't feel the same way, right? That's what I'm thinking happened with me at Vivian's house after we made it around Dead Man's Curve on Halfway Road in Guyton. They know what I mean, they know what you mean. Now, like I said, if you can't take a no answer, this could go bad real quick, not only for me, but you too. Now, after that, I never seen David Pelham or Johnny Norris again either. After the accident. And I was back in school by Tuesday, right? That's all I gotta tell them too, right? That's why I'm messing about whether I'm an undercover agent or not, stuff like that, right? Which they can't prove either. Like I said, if my stuff keeps turning up missing, yeah, I know where I put it. Guess where my keys are? In my pocket. If they're not here, they're on the coffee table, because that's where you normally put your keys when you first come home, right? You don't put them on your piano or by your books with a bunch of books around it. You put it somewhere like on the top of the pile of books, maybe, but not over here, because they might fall down and stuff anyway. And whoever took them, or maybe I hid them from myself or something, whatever, took them for a reason to let me know they were here, right? And they don't want me to know someone was here too, right? Because maybe it's an underage girl they tried to set me up with a fake ID or something, right? That's what they're acting like, right? Well, they keep calling me a pedophile and things like that. Well, I'm not consciously with an underage girl unless she has a fake ID, and again, all I can do is ask her and certain things like that. And if she has one, I don't know. There's no way to validate IDs online. Because the state don't want you to know what their IDs look like anymore because of identity theft and stuff like that, right? That's the whole point. So I'm asking you, are we going to repeat Russia, America, and China, and India, and Israel the same mistakes of the past and blow the country and the nations to hell in World War III and make God roll back the clock, terraform the earth again, and start over from scratch with the new Eden? Whether or earth again is in a perfect paradise condition, but only we can fuck it up. As we did in the past. And we keep fucking it up. As we did in the past. For billions of years, baby. Is this our final time, or are we going to do it again? Probably said the same thing before, too. and I'm waiting to figure it out. You can bring me up to 14 virgins, I guess, before I figure it out. I don't know. Over the next 50 years, too. I ain't in a hurry to find me a bad wife. I want a good woman, right? But if you're bringing me underage girls and giving them fake IDs, that's on you. Not even the girls have a choice in that situation, because either you're talking them into it and introducing them to me and they're agreeing to it to a point, as much as they can. Which, I'm a good lover anyway. I know what to do in the bedroom. I don't think they're complaining about it either. Some of them are taking my keys as trophies or something, right? Or they let me know they were here, right? Well, that's pissing you off too, right? You think that's also why I'm resurrecting or coming back or something, right? To find my keys. Which I'll let them take maybe too, right? See, maybe in the course of making love to them, we talk about certain things, and they agree to do something to let me know they're here. Now, it's not concrete proof. It's like moving stuff around. Or taking something from a house and then them having to put it back in the house, right? Like the keys, right? And that's just a theory, of course, and you can't prove a theory, right? In science or nature, right? But a fact is not a theory, right? A fact has been confirmed by both science and nature, and you can't disprove it, right? Now, that's the only thing I can point out there. Now, Adam also might have raped Cain, but not Abel, because he figured Cain was Satan's son and Abel was his, right? Now, they still both could have been Adam's son, but Adam didn't understand how his sperm with a hermaphrodite sperm would be stronger, in a way, because a hermaphrodite's testicles are worn by his body and not as good for producing offspring as a male with his testicles outside his body, too. And that's why God made Adam fully male and then made the female from the body parts that were one with the male, right? And that's why you're a little bit confused about all that, too. God removed not just bone, but flesh from Adam. Well, if Jesus had female breasts, according to King James and Schofield, right? Two men who sing that, and then I'm the third, and John used the Greek word mastois from the Septuagint in Luke, right? And the word mastos, which is general, every woman's breasts of different sizes too. Now, women have different sized breasts, different sized bodies, so do men, and a lot of people like the body shame too, right? Like Kim Kardashian is talking about, and again, someone's trying to say I'm on an Instagram account. I don't do Instagram because A, I'm not a celebrity like Kim Kardashian who wants to keep herself in the spotlight 24/7 and posting photos, right, of herself, right? Though, yeah, she's an attractive young lady to meet, right? But she's just that, a young lady who's married to Kanye West, and I respect their relationship, right? But what happened recently in Paris is weird, and that's what I was commenting on too. It seems strange that all that happened when Kim's bodyguard was out the house. And they said the chauffeur might have been involved with it, you know what I mean? And someone on the inside, right? Who knew Kim was alone, right? Because I know even if she has an Instagram account, she ain't going to say, oh, I'm alone, no one's with me now. Come rob me. Right? That's the whole point, right? No one does all that. I don't even do all that, right? I'm giving you my address for a reason, right? And of course they knew where Kim was at too, right? But Kim ain't the male child and one of the two witnesses. I am. Whether Pastor Thomas liked it or not, right? And see, I wasn't coming to your church, Pastor Thomas or Pastor Davis, because of you, but to learn what you were teaching about Jesus. That was it. But then I saw you were wrong there too, right? Through the Gnostic Gospels, which have been discovered around the same time Israel was made a nation too. So again, I knew what y'all were up to, right? Of course, I was confused by that time too, right? Everyone was showing me so much different things. That's why I started hearing voices, right? after they also messed up my relationship with Sheena. So that's the point. But that's water under the bridge. I can't change the past, but I only go forward to the future, right? No man setting the ox to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. Either Pastor Davis, Pastor Thomas. I forget you. You know what I mean? And move on. Now I'm trying to forget everything from the past, right? But the more they keep harassing me about something they didn't witness, only me and my wife could testify to, and she couldn't arrest me within 48 hours, and I was back on base, I made it scot-free, back to base. Right? And when I fail, I might could have mentioned it to someone then, either a security guard or something like that, if I got into a fight about it. Right? I don't know who it would have been. There was like 2 or 3 guys in the whole thing anyway, in security anyway. Because, you know, it's a watch, right? Like any other watch in the military, except you're given an arm badge, right? And you're not the police. If you want to, you can call the police on me and things like that. But if you don't do it, I know I'm about to be attacked, but I'm sure I can handle your attack too and revive from it. Won't be the first time. I was in a near-death experience, but might not be the last. But every time you do it, I get stronger and you get weaker. So that's the whole point. Y'all have a nice day. Bye-bye.